Hey, today, update 1 of Anime Defenders drops. Ooh, close one. And with that update, a so-called nerf to the alt farming has happened. If you guys don't know what happened to the alt farming, basically you spawn at random points. The second thing is they also don't know exactly what they're going to do with alt farming yet. They had a poll and everything. Big news, big news. I was making this video and they made another poll. This poll it's basically saying everyone wants to buff gems but keep the anti-macro. The thing is, right now with this method that I have, there's no anti-macro. So with this, if they buff gems, it will legit just be a buff gems, right? There's no downside to this. So if the title and the thumbnail says nerfed, this method has been nerfed. But right now, we make about 100,000 gems per day. If they actually end up buffing the gems like the votes want, I will put the exact amount of gems you get per day in the description and the thumbnail. So it would be completely updated. If you're seeing 500,000 gems per day in the thumbnail right now, you're getting 500,000 gems per day in the thumbnail. All right, anyways, sorry for the disturbance. Back to the video. To gauge like the audience. So it's still undecided on how they're going to deal with it in the future. But this video is just going to be me talking about how to bypass the nerf. So in order for me to talk about how to bypass the nerf, I'll show you guys my method on how to alt farm. As you can see, these are all my alts here. I got Trader coming in at the top left. You know, mistreated potato at the top right, bottom left, discolored sandwich, and then bottom right is going to be my main. You can put your main anywhere on the screen. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to first head and say I'm going to split this off. The beginning half of this video is going to be for advanced players, people who already know how to use Account Manager, Tiny Task, and have mythics. If you're new, later half of this video is going to be for beginners. You guys can watch this and watch that or do whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. But with that being said, before I start my Tiny Task, I always lose inside of an infinite first. As you guys can see, I just lost. I'm going to go ahead and hit record on my Tiny Task. I'm going to start by clicking return to lobby on the bottom screens first, and then the top screen afterwards. Now, this is going to be in the way, so you just want to go ahead. You can click the dots if you want, right? But you can go ahead and just press tab to remove the leaderboards. And then you can go ahead and start teleporting to the story. Now, I will add this, when you're at the story, sometimes the game doesn't register your movement, so I just spam doing this. I just wanted to point this out. This is exactly what I do. All right. This is very simple now. My method is just simply spamming units. If you can get your first mythic down or whatever you need, you can just easy game. You know what I'm saying? As you can see, my wings are blocking the entire screen, so my apologies for that. But I'm just going to start placing units down now. It doesn't really matter where you place them down, because you'll be upgrading them at random too. So just place them down somewhere at the lower half of your screen. Now, if you don't have Evo Mythics, you can always just use legendaries or whatever your best units are, even on other accounts. As you can see on my top account, I'm gonna place down this guy's Mythic too. And even on the bottom account, I'm gonna place out this guy's legendary as well. Just randomly, it doesn't really matter where. Heck, might as well, since I'm already this far, just start placing units everywhere. And now on my main account, you can just start upgrading whatever you want. Just make sure not to click the sell button. Basically, you're just going to go around clicking randomly and then keep clicking where you remember the buy button is at. And you're going to go back to placing units. Or you don't need to, because you're already strong enough and you can solo up to wave 31. I can already solo up to wave 31 with what I have right now. You can go up to wave 46 if you want. Wave 31, 46, not much difference. Technically, mathematically speaking, wave 31 is faster. But in reality, it really doesn't really matter much. You're only going to get like, what, 1% more profit? It's not much different. Especially for trait-wise, you guys basically get the same amount of traits no matter what. Now, I'm already going to get to wave 31 with what I have right now, so there's no reason for me to keep on doing this. I'm going to go ahead and just pretend that I'm on wave 31 right now. I'm going to leave lobby. By doing that, I'm going to click this, I'm going to click that, and actually, I actually do this multiple times just in case something goes wrong, and I do it on all my other accounts first before actually leaving. All right, with that being said, do the bottom accounts first, and then the top accounts. And then once I load in, I finish my Tiny Task and everything should be a-okay. Restart the recording and I'll show you guys, as long as I get inside the game and place down my first mythic, my tiny task is fine. It'll run basically forever. If you DC during a game, that's just going to be the risk that you're going to have to take. As you guys can see at the top left, it didn't click the X mark, man. It did not click the X mark. You know why it didn't click the X mark? Because tiny task sometimes does not record single clicks. This is also the reason why I always tell people, or at least try to, always double click. This is the perfect example, because sometimes it just screws it up, and now I'm one man down. Though after, obviously after, you know, it's gonna click the X mark eventually, right? So I mean, if I did this overnight, it'll probably sync up with the rest. But make sure to double click the X mark and double click story, double click infinite, double click start. You know, just double click when you can. Bam! Placed down my first mythic. I will now survive up to wave even 50 at this point. So you guys get the idea or the general gist. Now it's time for me to explain some of my decisions. Explain a little bit of what maybe tiny task is for the newer players, the beginners. What's up, everybody? For beginners, I'm showing a little bit of the potential for mythics right now. But basically, for this, we're going to be using something called Roblox Account Manager, or there's also other instances or multi-instance Roblox managers out there. You can use whichever one you want. If you guys don't know what that is, you guys can always search it up on YouTube. There's a lot of videos on it. I will not share any videos or anything like that. I'm using the program I trust. I do incite or insist on you doing your own research on the multi-instances or whatever, and you know, make your own, come up with your own conclusions, right? But I also am using something called the tiny task. As you guys can see right here, tiny task. If you guys don't know what tiny task is, I actually have my own video on tiny task. It'll be in the description. I've been using tiny task for the past 8 years, so I trust tiny task a lot more to you know, basically rep it. But with that being said, it's time to equip your very best units. So now if you're in the beginner side of this video, you guys probably don't know what account manager was or tiny task is, but I already just talked about that. So now I'll be talking about the units for the other people who don't have good enough units. So I'll just be bringing in as many units as I can. As you can see, bam. I'll also bring in, I don't know, this is going to be very hard because my other accounts are really, really bad. So if it does get very hard, I do suggest you only using 2 accounts, or maybe even just sticking to 1 account, because this method works with just 1 account if you want, instead of multiple accounts. If you guys want to just do it with a single account, you guys can very easily. It's the same method I'm going to show you right now, just without the extra screens. But basically, once you have all the units that you want equipped, you're going to want to go to story, and you want to start up an infinite and lose in the infinite. The reason why you specifically really want to lose in the infinite before you start your tiny task recording is because sometimes you will lose in the infinite and you can't leave the game unless you click return to lobby, and I don't return to lobby, I leave game at the top left. When you lose the infinite, the ability to leave game at the top left is gone, right? So if you hear clicking leave game and then you end your tiny task, you'll still be stuck at this screen. So this is why at the very start of your tiny task, you want to start it at this screen. So I'm going to go ahead and start my tiny task and click return to lobby. Like so. And when the screen pops up, I'm going to go ahead and press tab to minimize the thing, or at the top right, you can click tab to minimize the thing if you don't have a tab button. I don't know why you wouldn't, but anyways, with that being said, at the X mark, you will want to always double click when you can, because sometimes tiny task does not register single clicks. But we want to go ahead and now teleport to the story. I teleport multiple times. Just in case the first time doesn't register or the single clicks don't register, you know? Adding a couple seconds to the total amount for a guaranteed 15-minute run is completely worth it by me. So now I'm gonna spam up and right constantly, just in case if the game doesn't register my movements. It'll basically be forced to register my movements, because that has happened before, and I've lost minutes, hours even, because the game wouldn't register me moving forward and right at the same time. But with that being said, now we're all ready inside the infinite of whatever infinite you're choosing. I chose wind place, or whatever the first infinite is. And when you start in the infinite like this, You could basically want to start spamming down your units as fast as possible on every single one of your accounts. So once you get enough to place units on your bottom right account or your main account, you want to place units on this account too. And this account. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm pressing 1 to select the unit that I want, and then I'm pressing left click to place the unit. And if I don't place the unit, as I'm showing you right now, I press C to cancel. I actually always press C to cancel. So even if I do place the unit, I press C to cancel. For me, it's Q, but for you guys, it's probably going to be C. I'm going to press 1, I'm going to place unit, and I'm going to press C to cancel. Press 1, place unit, C to cancel. I'll even try placing the unit on the road itself, because what if the road is not there in the future, right? The unit will be placed and everything will be a-okay. You just want to spam the units that you want to place on the lower half of your screen, basically the green area that I show right here. You just want to place as many units as you can in this green area. Now, I also want to make sure you guys know that you guys do not need to use multiple Roblox accounts for this. You guys can always do this on one account, or you guys can always do this without Tiny Task, or you guys can do this without Account Manager and only Tiny Task. It's completely up to you. This is very migrate-y. You can use this method however way you want. You also may be thinking, what if I accidentally sell my unit, right? So like a upgrade like pops up like this. What if I accidentally click this when you're placing down units? Well, you can't, because when you press 1 or 2, when you select the unit, the upgrade menu disappears. Sorry for the stuttering. Okay, now it's time to start upgrading your units. You just basically want to start clicking randomly on the game. Make sure not to click the sell button this time. Just click randomly on the game besides the sell button, and you're just gonna upgrade units at random on all your accounts. And then bam, if you're using 4 accounts and you're only using legendaries, there's a high chance that you will lose pretty early on. 3 minutes. And you're like, man, this sucks. 3 minutes? Well, 3 minutes on 4 accounts, believe it or not, that is, you just gained well over 100 gems. Yep, yes you did. If you guys can see on the screen, I probably did the math of the before and after on all 4 accounts. And the best part about this is that even though you lost, right? You press F8 to end your recording, play it back. Well, guess what? Now you will always lose, and it's still AFKable. You're getting this many gems every 3 minutes. That is still that you and literally overnight you can get enough gems to get a mythic and start doing the wave 31 one overnight. So it doesn't matter that you can't hit wave 31 as long as you can do this overnight, or as long as you can get enough to get to the mythics. Hey, you're doing pretty good, you know what I'm saying? The method is really quite simple. I'm going to go ahead and play this later half out for you guys so you guys can see everything that's happening. I'll play it at like 5 times speed since it's so fast already. And if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. After this ends, I will end the video. With that being said, I hope you guys have a good one. Thank you guys for watching. And yeah, hope to see you in the future. Bye-bye. As you guys can see, it's not pretty. This time, I lost in 2 minutes. Well, goes to show, once you get better units, the longer you'll last. And it also goes to show just how reliable this Tiny Task is. Even though I lost so early on, it'll be perfectly fine because my Tiny Task will reset itself. But like I said, if it's too hard, you can always just do one account. Anyways, bye-bye.